The moment we landed on Glorbnak, I knew we were in trouble. The planet's welcome committee consisted of a bunch of creatures that looked like a cross between a jellyfish and a porcupine. They weren't the friendly type either. One of them immediately latched onto Lieutenant Martinez's leg, and we had to spend the first 10 minutes trying to pry it off with a crowbar. "Welcome to Glorbnak," I muttered under my breath as the lieutenant limped away, cursing the day he decided to join the Space Exploration Corps. "Captain, what do you make of this vegetation?" Corporal Davis asked, poking at a nearby plant that was oozing some kind of neon green sap. "I'd say it's a lawsuit waiting to happen," I replied. "Let's not touch anything else until we figure out if it's going to eat us or just give us a rash." Our mission was straightforward enough: scout out potential new resources for Earth. Glorbnak had been flagged as a candidate due to its abundance of exotic flora and fauna. What the reports didn't mention was that most of said flora and fauna seemed to have a vendetta against anything with a pulse. As we set up camp, it became clear that this wasn't going to be a walk in the park. The local wildlife was fascinated by our equipment, particularly the high-energy plasma cutter, which a particularly brave critter tried to chew on. It was like being stuck in an alien version of a bad nature documentary. "Captain, look!" Davis pointed towards the horizon where a herd of what could only be described as six-legged cows was grazing. "Think they're friendly?" "I think they're delicious," I said, my stomach growling at the sight. "But let's not find out the hard way. Set up perimeter defenses and try to get a sample of that grass. Maybe we can figure out what makes these things tick." Little did I know, that was the beginning of our eco-adventure. Or rather, eco-nightmare. After a few days on Glorbnak, we started to realize that this planet's ecosystem was unlike anything we'd seen before. The plants were almost sentient, reacting to our presence in ways that defied all logic. Martinez's leg, now twice its normal size, was a testament to that fact. "Captain, this grass sample is incredible," Davis said, examining the specimen we'd collected from the alien cow's grazing field. "It's like it's designed to adapt to any environment. Imagine what this could do for Earth's agriculture." I looked at the sample skeptically. "So, you're saying we could have self-watering, pest-resistant, glow-in-the-dark lawns back home?" "Exactly," Davis replied with a grin. "This could revolutionize everything." "Or it could end up like the kudzu disaster of 2038, I muttered, recalling the invasive species that had taken over half of the American South. "Let's proceed with caution." As we began experimenting with the grass, the local wildlife seemed to take a particular interest. The six-legged cows, now dubbed Moose 6 by the crew, kept wandering into our camp, munching on anything remotely plant-like. One particularly cheeky cow even tried to eat Martinez's tent. "Get out of here, you overgrown hamburger!" Martinez yelled, waving a plasma cutter at the beast. Despite the chaos, our experiments were yielding results. The grass indeed showed remarkable adaptability. We even managed to cultivate a small patch around the camp, which had the unexpected side effect of attracting even more of the local fauna. "Captain, we've got a situation," Davis said, rushing over with a datapad. "The grass is spreading faster than we anticipated. It's like it has a mind of its own." "Great," I sighed. "First we get attacked by jellyfish porcupines, and now we've created an alien kudzu. What's next? Carnivorous daisies?" As the days passed, the situation with the grass started to get out of hand. The patch we planted had not only spread throughout our camp, but had also begun to encroach on the surrounding ecosystem. It was like watching an alien version of a horror movie, with the grass creeping ever closer to the native flora and fauna. "Captain, we need to contain this," Davis said, panic evident in his voice. "If it keeps spreading at this rate, it could destabilize the entire ecosystem." "I told you this was a bad idea," Martinez grumbled, still nursing his swollen leg. "Next thing you know, we'll have the Planetary Council on our backs." "Calm down, everyone," I said, trying to keep a level head. "We need a plan. Davis, can you create a containment field around the affected area?" "I can try, but we need to act fast," Davis replied, already working on his datapad. As Davis set up the containment field, I couldn't help but think about the potential repercussions. If word got out that we had inadvertently created an invasive species on an alien planet, our careers, and possibly our lives, would be over. "Captain, the field is up," Davis reported. but it's only a temporary solution. We need to figure out how to stop the grass from spreading. Suggestions? I asked, looking around at my crew. Burn it, Martinez said immediately. Burn it all. That might be a bit extreme, Davis countered. We need to understand its biology. Maybe there's a natural predator or some kind of chemical inhibitor we can use. Or we could just torch the place and be done with it, Martinez muttered, not entirely joking. As much as I hated to admit it, Martinez's suggestion had merit. We needed to act fast, and fire was the most effective way to deal with invasive species. However, setting the planet ablaze wasn't exactly a subtle solution. Davis, can we isolate a small patch and test the fire theory? I asked, hoping for a middle ground. Already on it, Captain, Davis said, his fingers flying over his datapad. We'll use a controlled burn to see how the grass reacts. Within an hour, we had a small section of the grass cordoned off and ready for the burn. As the flames ignited, I felt a mix of relief and anxiety. If this worked, we could contain the spread. If it didn't, we'd have a much bigger problem on our hands. Captain, look! Davis shouted, pointing at the burning grass. To our astonishment, the grass seemed to resist the flames. Instead of burning up, it smoldered and released a thick, acrid smoke that filled the air. Well, that's just great, Martinez said, coughing. Now we've got fire-resistant alien grass. What's next? Sentient weeds. As the smoke cleared, we noticed something even more alarming. The native plants around the burned area had started to wilt and die, clearly affected by the smoke. Captain, this is bad, Davis said, his voice grim. The smoke is toxic to the local flora. If we keep burning the grass, we'll destroy the entire ecosystem. Okay, Plan B, I said, thinking quickly. We need to find a natural predator or some way to neutralize the grass without causing more damage. Desperation set in as we realized that our attempts to control the grass had only made things worse. The local ecosystem was deteriorating rapidly and the native wildlife was starting to suffer. Something had to give. Captain, we're running out of options, Davis said, scanning the latest environmental readings. If we don't find a solution soon, this grass will overrun everything. Great. Just what we needed, I muttered. An ecological disaster on our hands and no way to fix it. We decided to venture deeper into the forest, hoping to find something, anything that could help. As we trudged through the dense vegetation, we stumbled upon a clearing filled with peculiar blue plants. They had tendrils that moved almost like they were alive, swaying gently even though there was no wind. Look at this, Martinez said, kneeling to examine one of the plants. It's almost like it's reaching out to us. Davis, get a sample, I instructed. Let's see if this thing can help us out. As Davis carefully collected a sample, the plant's tendrils seemed to react, curling towards his hand. It was both eerie and fascinating. Captain, this plant might be exactly what we need, Davis said, excitement in his voice. It's showing signs of being a natural predator to the grass. If we can cultivate it, we might be able to control the spread. Let's hope you're right, I replied, feeling a glimmer of hope. We need to get this back to camp and run some tests. Back at camp, Davis worked tirelessly to analyze the blue plant, which we dubbed the Xylop. Initial tests were promising. The Xylop appeared to thrive on the invasive grass, consuming it at a remarkable rate. Captain, we might have found our solution, Davis said, beaming. The Xylop can contain the grass. We just need to plant it strategically around the affected areas. Then let's get to work, I said, rallying the crew. We don't have any time to waste. With renewed determination, we began planting the Xylop around the areas overrun by the alien grass. It was a slow and arduous process, but we started to see immediate results. The Xylop plants quickly took root, their tendrils wrapping around the invasive grass and absorbing it. Captain, it's working, Davis exclaimed as we watched the Xylop do its job. The grass is being contained, and the native plants are starting to recover. Let's hope it stays that way, I replied, watching as a herd of moose grazed peacefully nearby. As the days passed, the Xylop continued to spread, effectively controlling the invasive grass and restoring balance to the ecosystem. We had found our solution in the depths of the alien forest, and it felt like a victory. Captain, we've done it, Davis said, a mix of relief and triumph in his voice. The ecosystem is stabilizing. Thanks to the Xylop, I said, looking at the vibrant blue plants. And to us not giving up. Just as we were preparing to celebrate our success, we noticed a group of native Glorbnakians approaching our camp. They were a curious mix of humanoid and reptilian features, with scales that shimmered in the sunlight and eyes that glowed an eerie green. Captain, we've got company, Martinez said, pointing towards the approaching group. Great, just what we needed, I muttered. Let's hope they're friendly. As the Glorbnakians reached our camp, their leader stepped forward, speaking in a series of clicks and hisses that our translators struggled to keep up with. Greetings, visitors, the translator finally managed. We are the Glorbnakian Council. We have observed your actions and wish to thank you. Thank us? I asked, genuinely surprised. For what? For saving our world, the Glorbnakian leader replied, a look of gratitude in his eyes. Your efforts to contain the invasive grass have restored balance to our ecosystem. We are in your debt. You're welcome, I said, not entirely sure how to respond. We were just trying to fix our mistake. Nevertheless, your actions have made a significant impact, the leader continued. We have brought a gift as a token of our appreciation. The Glorbnakians presented us with a collection of vibrant crystals, each one pulsating with an inner light. They were unlike anything we had ever seen. These crystals are a source of great power and beauty on our planet, the leader explained. We hope they will serve as a reminder of our gratitude and our alliance. Thank you, I said, accepting the crystals with a sense of awe. We're honored. As the Glorbnakians left, I couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. We had made a mistake, but we had also found a way to fix it. And in doing so, we had gained new allies and learned a valuable lesson about the importance of cooperation and respect for other worlds. Well, that was unexpected, Martinez said, examining one of the crystals. Guess we did something right after all. Yeah, I replied, smiling, and maybe next time we'll be a little more careful. As we packed up our camp and prepared to leave Glorbnak, I felt a sense of pride and relief. We had survived the ordeal, and we had made a difference. It was a reminder that no matter how advanced we became, there was always something new to discover, and always new challenges to overcome. And maybe, just maybe, next time we'd remember to ask for help sooner. As we prepared to leave Glorbnak, I took one last look at the planet. Despite the chaos and the near disaster we had caused, we had managed to make things right. The Glorbnakians had been surprisingly understanding, and their cooperation had been invaluable. Captain, are you ready to go? Davis asked, securing the last of our equipment. Ready as I'll ever be, I replied, climbing aboard the shuttle. As we lifted off, I watched the planet recede into the distance. It had been a harrowing experience, but it had also been a valuable lesson. Humanity's impact on alien ecosystems was something we needed to consider more carefully in the future. Well, that was fun, Martinez said, leaning back in his seat. Can't wait to see what they throw at us next. Hopefully something a little less hostile, I replied, smirking. As we entered space, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. We had survived Glorbnak, and we had learned a lot in the process. It was a reminder that no matter how advanced we became, there was always something new to discover and always new challenges to overcome. And maybe, just maybe, next time we'd remember to pack some Xylop seeds.